Hey everybody, so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take a loop that we've created and we are going to cut it up like we would cut it up in a program like Recycle, but I'm not going to use Recycle. I'm going to use Digital Performer and Kontakt. Now, you don't need to use Digital Performer. You can use any sequencer you want. The basic principles are the same. And let's begin by just loading the loop onto a track so that we can hear it. So I'll just create a stereo audio track. I'll pull my loop in so we can listen to it. This is what it sounds like. The loop itself is 100 beats per minute. I'm going to change my overall tempo to 100 beats per minute. You may have to do that before you import it. Digital Performer will not default time compress or expand if I move the beats per minute to something else once I've imported that. But if you're using Reaper, it will do that automatically for you. In any case, it lines up. It's a 2-bar loop. You can see on my screen that I have it, it's basically fitting into those 2 bars. So what I really want to do is I want to get this into Kontakt because Kontakt has some special features to split up this into little slices so that I can export it similar to a Rex file like Recycle. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the project menu, add a track. I'm going to add an instrument track, and I'm going to add in a Kontakt instrument. So that's what I'm going to do first. Here's my Kontakt instrument. And all I need to do is take my loop, which is over here, and drag it into Kontakt, and it will make an instrument for me. In fact, I can play that. Now, I don't have a keyboard connected to my machine, so what I'm going to use is the on-screen keyboard, which in here is called MIDI keys. So here's my MIDI key thing, and I can basically play that loop if my track is record enabled. So I'll go over here, and here's my Kontakt instrument here. And I need I need a MIDI track to kind of play that. So what I'll do is just create a MIDI track and route that to my Kontakt instrument, which is here. And that's in record. So now it should play my loop when I hit A, like that. Okay. Now that I have stuff playing in the sequencer, what I can do using this MIDI keys here, what I can do is start slicing it up. So in order to do that, I have to hit the wrench icon in Kontakt and go to my wave editor. And in my wave editor, you can see that there's a sync slice tab. And before that, though, there's something else that I want to do. I want to go to the mapping editor and change my loop so that it's actually maybe just at the lower end of the keyboard. This allows us to place notes when it slices it up to assign each one of the slices to a different note. What I'm going to do is have the main loop below C1, so when it starts filling in notes, it's going to be at C1 and above. Okay. Now, I still have my wave editor open down here, and what I can do now is I can start splitting it up. Now, there's 2 ways to split up. There's basically a way to split it on a grid which relates to your tempo. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to select auto, which will actually select it to, so we have to use beat machine, and when we select beat machine, then we select fix or auto. And right now, the width is 16th notes. I don't want every 16th note because there's not something playing at every 16th note. What I'll do is hit auto, and what this will allow me to do is change the the minimum slice duration, and what it's looking for is transients, and you can see that lined up the transients pretty well. Now, there are 2 ways for me to create these little notes here. What this is going to do is apply each slice up to a note. Now, depending on what sequencer you're using, you may want to change this a little bit. And so my screen isn't quite big enough, but what I can do is if I drag this MIDI to the host, what it will do is add in notes for each one of these slices, like so. This is what I'm doing. Okay, and there it is. And it added in the notes like that. So it's kind of splitting it up like Recycle, The challenge is all those cool things that Recycle does, which exports all this stuff automatically. You can't export each one of these slices automatically. In fact, let me play them first of all. So each one of these is a separate note. So I think I may have to change my octave here. Yeah. All right, so starting here, that's the first slice. Now I'm just playing the slices up those keys. So each one, like the A key, represents this C1 here. So it's kind of splitting it up like you would in Recycle. So now I can go in here, and when I play this back, it's playing it based on this MIDI that I've created by dragging it out of Kontakt. So if I look back at my Kontakt window here and look back at the sync slice, basically I dragged this host MIDI to the host is how I did that. Now what I can do is a few things. I can change, this is where I go in and I can actually change the speed. So let's go ahead and do that. So I could change this to 140. I'm not playing the audio. In fact, I'll get rid of it here so you can hear what this would sound like. And it should, basically, because it's playing those individual slices, we'll play it at 140. Or if I go back to the original tempo at 100, I'll hear that. And what it's doing is it's taking this MIDI data here, right, the MIDI data right here, and just playing each one of those, and it corresponds to the Kontakt data that I've created here. Okay, so now I have the MIDI, and so what I could do is export this MIDI. The way that you do that in Performer is you go Export, Selection as MIDI file, and I'm just going to export it like this and put it on my desktop. And on my desktop, I'll have a MIDI clipping. Now, if I try and play that, it's going to play a piano. It's basically going to go up that scale. So if I play it, it sounds like this. Oh, if I load it into QuickTime, I think it will play it. So that's what is in the, that's just the raw MIDI data, and all it is notes that are firing the virtual instrument piano in the default QuickTime 7 MIDI instruments. Okay, so I have my MIDI file, and I'll load that into a segment within Wise later. But the next thing I want to do is I want to take each one of these slices and sample them. So I'll kind of go up here, and what I'll do is just record in these samples kind of slowly. So I'll start with the C1 key. Each one of those is what I want to play in. So what I'll do is I'll take the output of my Kontakt instrument and actually route it to the bus and then record it to this track up here. So I'll take bus 1 and 2 and record it to this track. And I'll just do it really slowly. And I'll go up the 2 octaves that I have. So I'll record it in, press play there. Oops, I'm not recording. I'm recording the MIDI data there, but I'm not recording on the track. So let's record on the track 2. Here I go, and I'll basically just go up. And that's it. So I have all the notes in there, which is great, and I'll hit stop. And I have them all recorded, and you can see them on this track here. And then I want to just go and split them up, and that's my next job after this. So I can get rid of that track, I'm not playing anymore, and take that out of record. And now I just want to focus in on this right here, which is my audio data. So different ways to split this up in Digital Performer, just like there are different ways in every sequencer. I'm just going to make my track really big so I can see it really nicely, and then start going in and splitting this up. Probably want to zoom in just a little bit more. So that's my first slice, and I'll start editing these. Now, watching me edit is a little bit like paint dry. Watching paint dry. Watching paint dry. In any case, I want to name these as I go. And so I'll call this slice C1. And the next one's going to be C#1. Maybe I want to make this even bigger. Okay. And then I just start slicing these apart. And I want to name each one as I go. So this is slice C#1. And it's not as fast as what Recycle would be able to do, but it allows you to sort of export each slice as it applies to a MIDI file. So, by the way, the quick key if you're interested is Command Y in Digital Performer. It's Command E if you're in Pro Tools. I can't remember what it is in Logic. So this is D1, since my last one was C#1. Then this will be D sharp if I'm using all sharps. All right, I'm going to pause my video and do the rest of these and then export them so you don't have to watch me do all the rest. Okay, so I've sliced up everything, and by the way, when I got to the end of the octave, B1, then I started with C2, C#2, D2, and D#2, and then I was done. And you can see in my Soundbites window or in Pro Tools, this will be your Clips window, and I think it's Media in Logic. In any case, these are all my little loops, or my slices. And I can go ahead and select all of them, and then go up to my menu and choose Export Selected Soundbites. And I'm going to make sure to select Wave because Wise does not accept AIFF. And I will put them in a folder, maybe called Slices, and choose that. And it will basically export all those to my hard drive over here. Here are my slices. And you can see they start, again, they still start at C1. And then I'll have to go C1, C#1, D1, when I start arranging them in Wise. Now you can go back to the other tutorial now, and now you have all the data. You have the MIDI clip, and you have the all the slices, and you need to just arrange them inside of that instrument. Hope this helps. Okay, bye.